What's up? Yeah, we're live.
We are now live.
Welcome everybody. This is gonna be a new edition with my buddy Nikhil. Good to see you, buddy. Always a pleasure.
Always a good time. Always a good time.
And so we're gonna be starting to do these, weekly or whenever the chapters come out for One Piece, and just do podcasts on them, discussing the chapter, break it down, analysis, discuss some theories. And, it's going to be a lot of fun. I've always wanted to kind of get into this, and especially now we're getting in the end game of stuff. It's just so much fun to watch, and there's so much going on, man. So
always stuff to talk about with One Piece. We can talk about One Piece forever.
Yeah.
If you ever meet someone in real life who watches One Piece or reads One Piece, that's like a treasure trove of conversation.
Yeah.
You can talk forever.
Exactly,
That's what we're going to do.
And
talk about One Piece.
And One Piece, and, bounce off your ideas, and hopefully we'll bounce off each other's ideas and get some stuff going. And, so the way these are going to work is normally we'll just do them on Twitch like this. Maybe sometimes we might not be in person, but we'll do, on Discord, VC, stuff like that. And so then what we'll do is it'll be on Twitch, and then we'll upload it to YouTube afterwards so people can watch the whole VOD. But yeah, no, I'm just excited to get this series going, man. So we're starting with One Piece chapter 1112.
25.
I know, 25.
Not 12.
Oh, sorry.
1125.
1125, yes, 1125. But yeah, so, we're just going to start from the very beginning, and that's from the cover story. So,
Alright, so Hermes, let's back up even further. What happened in the last chapter, 1124?
I do a recap. Well, the last chapter, 1124, was actually just a breakdown of the Straw Hats leaving Egghead.
That's right.
And we kind of went over York, and, we kind of learned that the Vegapunks are still alive in some fashion. It wasn't really clear how. But we figured out a little bit that in this chapter what's exactly going on. But we had that going on with York, and kind of Luffy and them were sad because they thought Vegapunk died. But then when they revealed the news that Vegapunks are not in fact dead, they got cheerful. They had their banquet. Everyone was excited.
Did you see that coming though?
Which one? That the Vegapunks are alive?
They were actually alive.
I think I kind of saw it with the potential of the Stellas, or like not the main Stella, but like the punks, because of the fact that they are from the conscious. Right?
I think the Stella's dead.
Yeah, for sure. I think the main
Vegapunk satellites are
but the
still
satellites
alive.
are still alive. Yeah, that's the terminology.
Because they're literally just robots that exist because of punk records.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, in theory, you could just keep making more.
Exactly, and I think that's kind of what they talked about this chapter, and we'll kind of dive into that too. And I think generally there's been a lot of fake out deaths in One Piece, and it is kind of sad.
Oda, man.
But the thing I like though is that all the Vegapunks are now all together. Like they're just one mind in the sense of like they don't have separate bodies.
You're going too fast.
What am I going too fast?
These are spoilers for 1125.
All right.
You're talking about we're still on 1124.
All right. 1124. Then we ended with the Elbaf. Them teasing that Elbaf is starting.
We're going to Elbaf.
And then
they had Usopp.
Yeah, Usopp was excited. That was the chapter before that he was risen like that.
Oh.
Or
was that 1123?
1123 probably was risen.
So what was the end of 1124?
Well, the end of 1124 is when they had that little bit of the silhouette of that shadowy figure saying, "Come on in, come here."
Oh yeah, I'm waiting. Who do you think that shadowy figure is, Aramis?
Yeah,
we disagreed about this quite a bit.
Yeah, we disagreed, but in my opinion, I kind of do think that shadowy figure has a chance of being either Scapper Gaban or potentially Loki. I think one of those two options is most likely to fit. I get that people might think it's Saul, but here's the thing. Just a couple of things. Number one, it's in a silhouette form, and kind of on the side face of Saul. We already saw Saul without silhouette before, and I don't think Oda tends to do these type of things where he reveals a character and puts them in silhouette if he had them in a non-silhouette fashion not so long ago. And then on top of that too is, there are... the body shape of the character just doesn't really fit Saul, and sure he could be drinking, but I just think the arm was a little bit too skinny for it to be Saul.
I think it's Saul.
You think it's Saul?
I think it's Saul, bro. Who else would be waiting for the Straw Hats like that?
Well, exactly. Scarpa Gavan would be a perfect option for waiting for them, right? Because that's kind of like...
Why does he care?
I think it's a very popular option because the Straw Hats saw, in the very first time when they first came to the Grand Line, they saw the Doctor, right? Oh my god, I forgot the name.
The Doctor?
The Doctor of the ship, of Roger's ship.
Crocus.
Crocus, I cannot believe I forgot.
See, he doesn't know anything about One Piece.
They saw Crocus, right? And then they saw Silver's Rayleigh midway through, and now as they're approaching literally the end game, kind of the last islands here in the New World, I think it would make perfect sense. And also, I do believe that there was some observation hockey involved in sensing them. I know you talked about that. It's just in general, like based off the news and stuff.
If you send your pirates off to an island to go retrieve someone, you're like, Yeah, but you get the news that, the Egghead incident is over.
Yeah, but you don't know if they're coming or not, right? And that's kind of one of the main details about this. Is just like, it's like you don't know for sure if they're coming back or not. But anyways, that was one option is Scapper Gabon, and from a story aspect, it would kind of make sense in finishing that the trio of the Roger Pirates kind of helping the Strats along the way. And Loki is obviously a bigger one too, just because of the fact that that's still one character we don't really know about, but he's going to be a main central figure in Elbaf, I believe.
Absolutely. I mean, if he does show up, I think he's not going to be like a side character at all. We know Oda loves to introduce new characters.
Yeah.
He did that in Egghead too. People are saying, not going to be too many new characters at this point in the story. I heavily disagree. No. I think Oda's going to introduce new characters until the very, very, very end.
Yeah, but I think some of these
I wouldn't be surprised if that's a new character, but my money's on Mr. Saul.
Yeah,
Mr. Jaguar D. Saul.
Yeah. You know what? If it is him, that's a great call out. I think there's odds that it might be other characters.
Hey, I'll take the L. I'll take the L if it's not.
We'll see who it is. But that's an exciting development. I think that's one of the main reasons that I'm excited for this arc too, is because there are going to be some new characters, right? We talk about Loki, we talk about more of the Elbaf land and kind of maybe some lore involved, right? We talk about the sun god of Nika and kind of how that's a big figure in Elbaf, as I kind of alluded to.
And the war god Elbaf.
And war god of Elbaf, exactly. And so, and also this has been one of those islands, I think besides Laugh-Tale, this is one of the islands that was mentioned and Strauss hadn't been to for the longest span in the story. So I think it's like the second longest span to Laugh-Tale where the island was mentioned.
Yeah, other than Laugh-Tale, it's number 2.
This is number 2. So it's a lot of excitement. And
wait, it might be number 1. We never knew the name of the island.
Laugh-Tale, no. Technically, Crocus mentioned... So, because Little Garden, right, was after, Reverse Mountain. And so, in Reverse Mountain, when they met Crocus mentioned, oh, yeah, this is the last island... But they said Raphtail, right?
Oh, so they did say
but they still mentioned the island, yeah. So he mentioned and yeah, so it was mentioned there. And then Little Garden was just a little bit afterwards. You had the Whiskey Peak arc, and then you had Little Garden, right? So it was slightly after, but still pretty long in terms of.
At least Elbaf, we had some idea that like it's a giant island.
Exactly.
We knew the giant pirates came from that island and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or Laugh-Tale is just like, oh, it exists.
It's probably an uninhabited island with just the One Piece. We don't know.
Maybe not an island, bro.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's got to be in some fashion.
Well, we know it's a location.
Exactly. That's actually a better way of putting it, I suppose. But yeah, let's dive into this chapter, right?
1125. What's the title, Aramis?
1125. What constitutes death?
Okay. Also, we're not reading the official translation.
Oh yeah.
Quite yet.
I mean, obviously, people's but essentially, we're just doing from the scans and stuff. But we're doing the reviews and stuff, so you can kind of breaking down each part.
It's good enough.
So yeah, and that's what a lot of people are doing nowadays, man. All these podcasters, YouTubers, stuff like that. Recently, a lot of them they used to do it when the official came out.
They used to wait till Sunday.
Yeah, wait till Sunday. Wait till the official.
Around when Gear 5 came out, they're like, "Fuck it, let's just start reviewing."
Yeah, with all these spoilers and stuff coming out too, a lot of them kind of had to transition to do earlier just because of the amount of spoilers going around, and they're trying to feed off.
At least One Piece spoilers are like they're friendly about it. JJK is ruthless.
Really?
Bro.
I thought One Piece was bad with spoilers. So if JJK is worse,
dude, you think One Piece is terrible. Bad? JJK like. It's horrible.
Well, good thing the series is ending. Then there won't be as much to spoil necessarily. If you just, because there won't be any more weekly kind of injections.
Yeah, but then there's no more JJK, and I'm gonna be sad.
Yeah, yeah. But thank you. Yeah, we see Acro and Wisp. Yeah, Acro and Wisp, who were in my earlier podcast. Thank you guys for joining. Just want to give a quick shout out. But yeah, so talking, about 1125, we first started off with the cover story, and I know you have kind of mentioned that you felt that this cover story
covers a whole lot of yapping, dude.
Is a little slow.
Nothing is going on. She's just running around Wano, talking to people, saving randos. Good for her. Yeah. Well, I guess it like shows that she's built trust with like the people again. She is Kaido's son/daughter, whatever. So, hey,
yeah.
I guess it's important for her character. But I don't want to see that shit, dude.
Yeah.
I want to see some juicy lore. You remember that Vegapunk cover story?
Yeah, Vegapunk
cover story was pretty beautiful.
Good. Yeah, although beautiful. There wasn't much lore until the parts of the story that referenced it. Because if you remember, like when Aokiji went to take Pudding,
they told us his whole backstory.
Well, yeah, Vegapunk, but that was at the time that we were in Egghead too, right? So the cover story kind of meshed with what was actually going on in the lecture. But it was still really good, yeah.
So beautiful.
It made a lot of connections.
We don't care. Enough Wano, man. Move on.
Yeah.
But hopefully this leads to some plot, right?
Yeah.
We see that, what's his name? Minatomo is missing.
Yeah.
Hey, isn't he related to someone?
He was related to the guy that was in that very first East Windmill Village. Basically, there was another guy there, and they were brothers.
Okay.
So,
I see.
but I think what's interesting to note though is in this cover story we see them kind of rebuilding Odin's castle in Kiri, which is a very cool concept, and it's cool to see them bringing back the old legends and bringing it back to reality. And I think, this missing could begin a spell, right? We saw last chapter that there was a potential kidnapping that didn't occur, right? In the last cover story, there was a potential kidnapping, and I forgot her name, but there was, Yamato was there.
Oh, that's right.
So we could maybe start seeing some development and a potential another kidnapping.
Okay.
I doubt that.
Interesting.
See, I saw some people say that they thought Minatomo might try to go somewhere else and they don't know where he is, but I doubt it because their reaction, they seem like, where did this guy go? Like, if he told them where they're going, there's no missing. He's just somewhere else.
He wouldn't dip without telling them.
He wouldn't dip. They wouldn't be this thing of missing. So I think there's likely going to be some sort of thing with this
some
kidnapping going on, and cool to see how that goes.
I didn't even think of that.
So, that's been kind of some sort of, hint of what's to come.
Who's the person that's trying to kidnap the kids and the...
Yeah.
And Minatomo?
And
what do they have in common? Like, why do they... Who and why? What's their motive?
Right. And so, we'll see how that goes. So, but, it's kind of cool. I guess, like, in a way, I kind of relate.
Come on, man. 13 volumes of this.
But I will say, though, for me, this kind of feels like almost like a cover request, except it's focused on Wano. Like, we're kind of seeing how Wano is doing post-Straw Hats.
In other words, it's a whole lot of yapping. I also like cover requests more. Because at least it's, like, creative. It's like, like a fun little twist.
For sure,
Just random shit.
Yeah, but these are at least canon. So that's the cool part about it.
Fine.
So anyways, we start off the chapter. And one of the things I gotta say, though, overall that I liked about this chapter is it kind of was the perfect resolution to all the things going on. And, I know we talked about it before. I thought there may have been a chance, especially when they were transitioning to Elbaf, like from the last two chapters. I thought, okay, maybe some of this might be safe for cover story, the resolution on the island. But I think this chapter kind of encapsulates everything else that was remaining on the Egghead that wasn't the Straw Hats or the Giants.
I think what Oda's doing with this chapter is just to, like, he doesn't want to leave any loose ends in Egghead.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants Egghead to be done. He doesn't want to come back.
And this did a perfect job of it, basically, kind of redoing all that. I do imagine, though, if there is going to be a cover story, which it is likely there will be, is that it would be centered either around Stussy. Because we don't know what happened to Stussy, right? So either centered around Stussy or potentially the Vegapunks.
No, the Vegapunks.
So
we'll see in the chapter that it may not be exactly on the Egghead Island.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. So we kind of start off with the chapter, right? We kind of go in and, we see CP0 coming down, Rob Lucci, Kaku, and they're kind of all talking and trying to wait for the Seraphim to get charged, and they don't know what they're going to do with the Pacifista yet.
Yeah. So they're all basically escaping the island.
Yeah.
They're ready to go. They've done what they need to do. Egghead is going to go. And what's going on?
Yeah, and then, they come here, and Rob Lucci and Kaku, and then, they kind of ask him, where's Stussy, right? You guys are here, where's Stussy? And, Rob Lucci goes, killed in action. And
this took me by surprise, dude. Yeah. I really thought that, I didn't think Rob Lucci would have her back.
Well, I will say, though, we gotta wait for the official translation. I have seen that there's been some sort of discrepancies. Like, I even saw a translation that said I killed her, which it was pretty bizarre to me. So we gotta see what happens there exactly. But I do think that it is leaning towards this type of translation where it's like, oh, she died. She was killed.
I see.
And Kaku's face is very telling, right? He's kind of, you got the shadowy eyes in the back, and it's kind of like as if he knows. Obviously, he knows what Stussy actually did.
Lucci's lying. Bro.
And, yeah, exactly. And I think what's interesting to me, though, if it does end up being the fact that Lucci was kind of, not mentioning that she betrayed the government and just kind of letting her, like, escape, if you will, is that Lucci is someone who wanted vengeance on Stussy, right? And he was really taken back at what Stussy had done to them.
I mean, at the end of the day, she betrayed him.
Yeah, she betrayed him, and Lucci's not a very hard-fought
I'm just surprised that, like, he's cutting her some slack.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, it's because he's besties with Kaku.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he cuts her some slack because it's like, hey, you saved my best friend. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, and I was begging the Gorosei to let Kaku go.
Yep.
I didn't care about you.
And Stussy actually helped Kaku, and that was a big.
At that point, I think it's just like, hey, you rub my back, I'll rub yours.
Yep. And it's really, we don't really know where Stussy is actually right now, and so we'll be telling where she goes.
Maybe she's with Sentomaru.
Sentomaru, there's possible, right?
They both just escaped.
But
he escaped.
If she is with Sentomaru, she'd have to be in the barrel type of thing.
Yeah.
But I for sure think that obviously Stussy is gonna be alive. I don't really take this at face value. I think we both agree that Stussy is not dead, and especially based off Kaku's reaction and the way he kind of feels like, she's not actually dead.
Stussy is low-key becoming like such an interesting character though.
And that's the other thing too I was gonna mention is her arc.
She has no purpose. Like,
And that's the thing. Right now, her main character arc is gonna be what is my purpose, right? I was a robot. I was doing these orders, not because I wanted to, but because I had to, right? But now it's like, what is my true purpose? And I think her finding her identity, you know, especially as kind of a robot, is gonna be one of the biggest things in her next character arc. And so it'll be a lot of cool to witness that. So that's why I think her story is still not done yet. So as we go there, and you know, we have Saint Saturn, right? Who's kind of hyping up not hyping up, but he's kind of be like, all right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we were able to do a plethora of things, right? We got York, we got Punk Records, we got the power station, and we got the accesses and terminal for him. But you know, there was just one little mistake, one hiccup. You know, we did all this, but one hiccup. And of course, you know, the vice admirals are merely like, or immediately are like, damn, like, yeah, I'm sorry we couldn't get Straw Hat or Jewelry Bonnie. I'm so sorry we let them escape, like, even with a Buster call. And by the way, they're 0 for 3 on Buster calls overall so far. Well, 0 for 2, but 0 for 3
Wait,
Robin.
0 for 3, yeah.
Robin is over, like, they're 0 for 3 on Robin. Straw Hats are 2-0, basically. They were beating the Buster call. And so it's kind of crazy. But then all of a sudden, Saturn kind of goes, you know, and the Vice Admirals are then like, okay, let's try to pursue them to Elbaf. Let's try to make this right?
Yeah, they're apologizing. They're like, oh, we forgot that I'm sorry we couldn't catch the crew. Sorry we let Bonnie go, but we'll make it up to you. We're gonna go catch them.
And then all of a sudden, right, Saturn is like, no, forget about Elbaf. We're not even going that route. And he's like, that's not even the failure. That's not even the main failure. The main one was that, you know, Vegapunk's message kind of.
So actually, there were multiple failures. They forgot. They left Bonnie.
Yeah.
They couldn't even catch any of the Straw Hats.
They didn't finish Kuma either.
And they couldn't finish Kuma. They couldn't capture Kuma.
Yeah.
They allowed Vegapunk's message to play. Like, what is this one critical hiccup?
Yeah, exactly.
There's like at least 6.
Yeah, and to him, it seemed like that wasn't a big deal. It seemed like his bigger issue was you know, Vegapunk's message. And I think what's interesting really about this is the fact that Saturn is even admitting to them that the main issue was that Vegapunk's message was getting played was then if I'm a Vice Admiral, and I think we'll see this later on, is they're thinking, wait, if Vegapunk's message getting played is an issue, does that mean there was some truth to what he was saying? Why would you be worried about what he's saying? Well, Doberman is kind of the one who confronts Saturn.
It was Doberman.
Doberman later confronts Saturn. We'll get to that. But I just think in general, though, it's interesting that Saturn kind of admitted this. Obviously, Vice Admirals, even though they're not Admiral level or Fleet Admiral, they're still very loyal to the government.
Yeah, well, and they're not really supposed to ask questions. Like, it's military.
They're not supposed to ask questions, but then you put this... But then you put this thought in their mind. They're like, wait, like, am I doing the right thing by following the government here? And so, you know, I just think that it's a very risky thing to do. But you know, it's kind of like omitting that Vegapunk's speech had some truth to it, which I don't necessarily know if, you know, as Marines you would want them to be hearing that type of thing.
Absolutely.
Kind of putting down in their mind.
No, at the end of the day, you should be able to tell like your subordinates like whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I honestly, if I was Saturn and someone said that to me.
Yeah,
I'd do the same shit.
And it's kind of funny too, right? Because then again, we talk about another hiccup, right? We talk about them leaving Straw Hats and Bonnie on top of Vegapunk's message. Then there's another thing, the Iron Giant, right? And then Saturn also mentions, like, not to mention, right, that Iron Giant also came back to aid the pirates, and we learned, you know, they showed a mini flashback 200 years ago.
Yeah, this was a really interesting panel. Because who is this dude? These are not Vegapunks. This guy looks like Marcus Morris.
Yeah, no.
Warcury.
Yeah, people mentioned that kind of looks like Warcury, one of the doctors. But, you know, I don't want to speculate too much into it. But, yeah, no.
I mean, come on, bro.
Well, because there's no scar or anything, right? Like, maybe it could be
200 years ago, you might have gotten a scar.
Yeah. But you know, the main thing is that, I think the main thing to take away, though, is that, you know, there was orders from someone else.
Tiny. Never mind.
There were orders from someone else that they were gonna scrap. And remember, by the way, this is when the robot had attacked Mirajor. We still don't know how the robot got activated or anything like that. That is still unknown how he got that power to attack Mirajor. No.
Oh, from Mirajor.
From Mirajor, like 200 years ago.
I see.
And so that, you know, well, obviously we can kind of maybe infer that it was potentially from Luffy's or, you know, the Devil Fruit, the Sun God Nika. But still, I think and this kind of hit me too, and I'll kind of discuss on this a little bit. Essentially, the summary of this is, right, the Emmet had attacked Mirajor. There's orders from above. Someone else mentions, okay, we got to scrap Emmet. And Saturn is the one to be like, you know what? No. We're not going to scrap him. It's my responsibility. If something bad happens, that's whatever. I'll take the blame for it. But I want you scientists, I want you guys to kind of study, learn about Emmet, because this is going to be what's going to be huge for the Marines, for our military might in the future, and this is what's going to help us grow, right? And this is such an exciting project, but you guys take him, I'll take the blame. And you know, the reason I thought that this was not only ironic, but just such a callback to his call to Vegapunk, when he called Vegapunk, you let your greed get the best of you. Saturn's greed kind of got the best of him here, right? We'll see what happens later, but the idea that he wanted he wanted to, you know, focus so much on making their military better. That's why you talk about the Seraphim, stuff like that, and the pacifistas, because they want to improve their military might. And for Saturn to, knowing that the threat that this, you know, ancient robot posed against him, especially Mary Joa, it was, you know, kind of ironic how his greed of wanting to make a better military to keep that robot, despite there being other orders from scrapping it, kind of gets him. And I just think that's so
honestly
telling.
I think it's more of it's too valuable of an asset to scrap.
Yeah, but
if you can get that thing to fight for you, like, you don't need gigantification.
But again, that's the whole
just
point.
Smack the giants, bro.
But again, that's the whole thing, right? Like, that's based back to greed, right? His greed of wanting to improve that military might kind of led him to his demise.
It's optimal.
It's well, okay. So Vegapunk wanted
I can't
to
believe I'm a Saturn defender right now.
How are you defending him?
You're turning me into a fucking Saturn defender.
But that doesn't even make sense, though. Because
no, but it does make sense.
Well, because we look at Vegapunk, right? Look at his journey, right? It was led by initially a lot of greed of wanting to go underneath the government. Why? Because he wanted funds. Why? Because he wanted to improve the scientific technology. He wanted to do things that he thought were good, but didn't understand the actual purpose or the intent behind how his inventions would be used, right? You talk about the Eternal Mother Flame, for example, right? It was part of his greed that he wanted to get something like that to better have basically unlimited energy and technology, but unfortunately, right, it came back to bite him. Same thing here with Saturn, right? Instead of orders from above saying we should scrap it, he's saying no, I'm gonna keep it. And you know what? I'll face the consequences.
So you're an emu defender, is what you're saying.
I'm not an emu defender.
You're an emu defender.
I'm an emu defender.
You gotta listen to emu, do whatever emu says.
No, what I'm saying is Saturn's greed got the best of him, which is kind of ironic based off how he had talked to Vegapunk about, you know, your greed got the best of you, right? So it's kind of a somewhat callback.
Okay, you're talking about a callback.
Callback.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And obviously here, you know, Saturn was like, yeah, and it moved to protect Rod Luffy, right? And then we kind of move on, right? And this is Doberman. You're talking about
Mr. Doberman. Yeah. He pulls up saying, hey, Saint Saturn, why is this such a problem? Is Vegapunk's message, was there some truth behind it?
Yeah.
Is that what you're implying? And what does he do?
He just bang his neck gets snapped. That ability we saw before.
Calls four black trucks pull up to his house.
Yeah.
Never seen again.
Yeah. And you know what's telling here too is like he even starts it off too by saying like, oh, by the way, Saturn, I am a loyal soldier. You know, I've been with the government. You know, I just have this one question. And it's kind of funny, right? Because like it seems like he already feels it might be somewhat taboo, but he's trying to make sure that, you know, they're on the same page. But again, I think this is kind of wrong time, wrong place too, because Saturn is already upset with this whole mess up, and you're kind of, you know, this is not the right time to do it.
I mean, at the same time, dude, like Saturn, you don't got much time left either.
Yeah.
Saturn, you're cooked.
Well, he doesn't know that, right?
Not yet. Yeah.
And so then, you know, they're calling for the medics. They're like, medics come, we gotta get him. And so then now we go to, you know, York. You know.
York. So in the lab,
yeah,
the sky clouds are balling. They're billowing out. Mm-hmm. What's going on?
Yeah.
And when I was first reading the chapter, I'm like, why is the Cloud Factory going haywire?
Right.
But then she says Edison, and I fucking knew Edison was still alive, dude.
Yeah.
Edison was not going to die. Every time there's like some kind of like crash out death, it's just they're still alive.
Yeah.
Pell, look at Pell. Look at Bon Clay.
But
look at Edison.
He definitely did get knocked out though, because if you remember, his signal from the punk record thing kind of got cut, right? So he kind of got.
But I'm saying his original body was okay.
Yeah, his face at least, I think it would.
His face.
Yeah. But yeah, and so then, you know, York is like, well, what's going on? And so then, you know, we see Edison's face is like bingo, and then what's interesting is York actually shoots.
She pulled out the chopper.
Yeah, like it's like a rocket launcher or something.
It's more like a sniper.
And it just
that's a rocket launcher.
Rocket launcher, yeah, and it just like boom, like it just destroys that like part of the egg where it's opening, and I don't even
know where she's firing, dude.
And
like,
I don't even know why she was shooting it. I don't even know what the goal was, because it just made it worse. If anything, you're losing that part because now it's going up. So now you're not even able to, you know, retrieve that portion that they shot up, and then York is like, I've been played, and then
he's taking Punk. This panel is so cool, dude. Look at the sunlight coming through the clouds as it rises.
And this was sick because, you know, now we just see this panel like the Punk Records rising. Obviously the Labro the Frapos, what's that second layer
The
called?
Labosphere?
Labosphere, yeah. Labosphere is still there, but the Punk Records portion
it's
of
just
it,
the punk record. It's
Punk
just
record.
simply the brain.
it's just the brain of it, right? And the brain is going up, and you know, York. That's why I was kind of surprised. Which like, what were you trying to do when you're shooting? Are you trying to like shoot down the cloud haywire so it stops?
I think so.
pumping?
I think it was the cloud making.
You know, because it basically broke off the piece and the whole thing kind of went. Obviously, even if you see here we can even see on the panel, right? A part of that, you know, the Labosphere was still kind of floating a little above Egghead. Obviously, it was still up to begin with, but you know, it's like damn, like. And it's funny too, because Saturn was talking about, all right, guys, we got Punk Records. At least we got York, and we got
Not even Punk Records.
Now you don't got Punk Records, right? And so now these Vegapunks are kind of gonna be free a little bit, and I think this is a game changer, right? I think this is going to, you know, obviously York can still connect to Punk Records, but the ability to be, you know, contain Punk Records, and you're kind of preserving that brain.
Like honestly, that one chapter with like all like the memory erasing and shit, like even if you can connect to Punk Records.
But that was
What
a
does that
machine.
mean?
So the thing is, what they did is they erased their memory from their own body, right? When they did the memory thing, they were just in their own machine. It was from their own body, right? And they obviously don't sync up with anything from the Punk Records, but they just forget everything, and then they're kind of starting fresh, right? So it's like there was like a time limit, I think, where it like made them lose their memory, and you know that's kind of what that was. And so, yeah, so
Okay.
that was that, yeah. So then we kind of cut to Mary Joao here real quickly. And
Oh, I love this, dude.
This is great, man.
This is just
and this is so
this healed
big.
me,
It's so
man.
nice to see them suffer, you know. The
I love,
Celestial
dude. They
Dragons.
just look so filthy and disgusting. I'm just begging for food.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because immediately they start off with like, "What Vegapunk can't be telling the truth? Like this doesn't make sense."
These fucking celestial dragons, bro.
And they're like, "Damn, like
Just
I
straight
can't
up
know why."
POSs, bro.
Yeah, they're like
DSHBs.
They're blaming everybody. They're like, "I know why didn't you handle Kuma?" And they're like, "Dude, even if Vegapunk's telling the truth,
There's
the world
complaining.
the world sinking doesn't even affect us, right?" And they're like trying to like be like, "Oh, we're this superior."
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, it's so crazy, right? He's getting still the celestial dragon.
He's still getting good ass food. He's getting fish.
Yeah, he's getting.
I ordered a beef, but you give me a fish.
Yeah, and you can tell right here the chef too was growling. Like he's not even that hungry either, and he's kind of still like.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
going
Yeah.
through it. And he's a great chef. You can see his stars here. Like
Five-star
five-star
chef,
chef, right? And so he's hungry. He's doing everything he can just for the celestial dragons. And instead of the celestial dragon at least thank him, he shoots him. He's like, I didn't get what I want. Done. And you know what's so stupid about this too is that these celestial dragons, they're killing the people that are even supposed to help them.
Exactly.
So they're
So what
worsening
food
their
are you
own
gonna get
state.
now?
Yeah. So it's like, what are you gonna do now? Like,
know.
you know, it's hard to replace them, right? Maybe it's not, but you know, it's still like, what are you gonna do?
So, bro, come on, man.
And so then, you know, he dies, and you know, all the celestial dragons, we just have like at one panel them kind of complain. They're like, dude, like I missed I didn't get snacks. Wow. I didn't get snacks.
These fat fucks, dude.
And then, you know, one of them was like unacceptable. We gotta what is this, a famine? And by the way, they're still getting food, but because they lost some, they're like, damn, this is some unfathomable.
Also, I mean, just look at
circumstance,
their faces, dude. They look so scuffed.
Oh,
like,
for
they
sure.
look disgusting. Oh,
yeah,
hello.
yeah. Hello, teacher. By the way, hello, teacher. Thank you so much for joining, man. Good to see you.
What is popping?
Nice emotes, man. I'm gonna need one of these hat stats. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
you
for
like
sure.
the arrow hat?
Yeah, yeah. Arrow hat, the merch is there, live in case you want it. And also too, you know, you can, you know, there's some. If you're subscribed, you can use these emotes. You know, we got the arrow emotes. Hello, Zave. Thank you for joining. Good to see you, Zave.
What's popping,
What's
Zave?
poppin', what's poppin', what's
We're
poppin'?
discussing One Piece.
Yep, One Piece. Yep.
11:25.
I don't know how much Zave has caught up. Zave has caught up, but I know he's you know, he was one of the people that kind of got me into One Piece too. Originally, I kind of watched some of the episodes with him. But yeah.
You should title it One Piece for spoilers.
Oh, did I change? Oh, I forgot to change the name of the podcast. Thank you, Zave, for the follow.
This is why we're never gonna make it big. This is what.
One Piece chapter 1.
This is why you're never gonna become the next Kai Cenat.
Oh my God! Thank you so much,
Ooh!
Zavi, for the Prime subscription, my boy. Thank you so much.
I'm making it rain.
I appreciate it. And now, Zavi, now you can use these cool emotes, the arrow emotes, you know, all to your disposal.
Beautiful.
You know, nice addition. And I just updated the stream. Thank you so much. I cannot believe I forgot the name of it. We were so hyped to begin, and of course I forget the name. But it doesn't matter because on YouTube, when it's uploaded or everything there, you know, it'll be as is.
Oh, I see Zave.
Yeah.
So, anyways, fuck these celestial dragons,
Right?
am I right? Pieces of shit.
And it's crazy, right? Because imagine they're just complaining about this, and obviously their food reserve got hit hard, but they still have food, right? So imagine
Yeah,
when they lose everything, right? When they're just down to the last
that's
bits
gonna
of
be great,
pieces,
man. That's gonna be great.
and now they're like, we gotta make sure all these people that were in charge of.
But now I think here's when we're gonna start seeing the Gods Knights come into play.
Oh, for sure.
Now they gotta do some shit.
They gotta pick up. And so now all the Celestial Dragons are like, we're gonna make everyone pay for it. All the people that were in charge of this supposed to help us and stuff like that, or in charge of the food supply and stuff like that. They gotta be tortured, man. And they're upset at the people that even the revolutionaries that came after.
Yep.
And you talk about the God Knights. We go next panel. We see right.
Figarland Garling.
Yeah.
Man, this walk is so cold. I can already imagine.
Does he have a sword?
He does have a sword on him.
Yeah.
He's pulling up with the sword on his side.
Dude, that's like
What
plus
are you doing
aura,
here?
right? You think
That's like 10 million aura.
10 million aura? Yeah, plus
Just
10 million.
walking in. What do you think you're doing here?
Yeah.
New orders have been bestowed upon me. Bro's walking in with like the crescent star haircut.
Dude, he's walking in like with all that
owns the
confidence,
place,
like he
man.
owns the place. Exactly, man.
Exactly.
And the four Gorsa here, like, kind of questioning. They're like, dude, like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, why? Like, and I dude,
know
that
your place.
Line, you forget yourself, man. That's like a
You
crazy,
forget yourself.
That's a crazy line, man. It's like, watch what remember who you are, right? And these elders are kind of questioning because they don't know what's going on. So it seemed like he got the orders
from
and these
Mr. Emu or
perhaps,
Mrs. Emu.
We don't know, yeah, but it's probably Emu, obviously, because they were like orders from who. And so then, they're kind of, checking that out and like trying to question what's going on. And then he mentions, Vegapunk.
He takes off the specs too.
Yeah.
He takes off the glasses, and with the dark eyes, the Vegapunk known as York shall henceforth be under my purview.
Yeah.
As I was just named the new defense science warrior god.
And as soon as I read this line, I'm like, dude, what's gonna happen to Saturn? Because immediately I read this, I'm like, okay, Saturn's gone for sure. What's gonna happen? I want to see what's gonna happen. And I can immediately.
You already kind of knew that Saturn was cooked, like when he didn't get summoned back.
Well, I didn't really know that if it was from Sun because he was already he was the one that summoned. There's still some discrepancy of what actually happened, why the other Gorsi got summoned back, but he didn't, and he also summoned from his ship to the island in the first place. So it's still some confusion, but yes, I think he was still supposed to be there supposedly just to take care and take everything back. But I just kind of read this line in Japanese, like Marcus Morris is like, don't tell me, he's like, Masaka, I was like, yeah, I kind of was like reading that like Masaka, so, and I really like this line, right? Like you already tell, like he's like, Fairland Garland is just coming in, right? He's like walking, he's like,
what is that stance, dude?
He's like start walk. He's like, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna come in, and he's like sitting, with his leg up, have some tea up, and he's like, you know what, guys, let us work together to better the world. My fellow elders, right? He's kind of talking about like there's all this turmoil going on. This rebellion is imminent, right? It's gonna happen. We're gonna work together. And then they, bam! Oda
give us the panel.
The panel, the introduction says 5 elder planets, right? Defense science, warrior god, and immediately we cut back to the egg, the marine ship, and immediately everyone going, Saint Saturn, what's happening? What's going on?
Sucked, dude. The Mentor's kiss.
He just got
completely getting the sloppy top
destroyed, bro. And dude, everyone's like, dude, we're the medics, man. We gotta get him, dude. What's going on? Saint Saturn, like all these Marines are like, this is like one of the top overseers, right? We gotta help him. We gotta do something about this. And they're like, Saint Saturn, what do we do? What do we do? Tell him. And this is so.
Imagine being Doberman watching this.
Yeah, well, he probably couldn't even watch it. He was probably down, But it's so idiotic. It's like, Saint Saturn, tell us what we should do. Like, yeah, you think he's gonna be like,
he's gonna tell us?
Okay, yes, this is what you should do. You should get this medic. You should get this medic. You should take.
You gotta start administering CPR, dude. You gotta check the vital signs.
It's like, why are you asking him what to do when he's clearly
get the AED
choking? Like
call 911.
It's like if
you get the AED.
Like Saturn is literally like self-choking, and you're asking him, hey, what do you do? What do you do?
You Heimlich maneuver.
Yeah. It was just so crazy to me too, because it's like, dude, like he clearly can't speak at the time. Like, what do you expect him to say? And so then we kind of, see Saturn kind of. It almost looks like
he's shrinking.
He's shrinking, but aging, right? It kind of looks like he's becoming more wrinkly, right? You kind of saw his beard, his face. It's becoming more droopy, right? And then kind of in the speech bubbles or in the like telepathic bubbles, he goes like, "No, it can't be." And then all the vice admirals just look shocked, like, "Oh, what's going on?" Because you can see on the next panel, it gets even more like droopy, and because his situation becomes worse. He's like, "Imu-sama," and then we see Imu, and we don't know where Imu is. Probably most likely they are in Mary Joelle, but we just see a
also,
panel.
Saturn's kind of a dumbass screaming Emu as he does. That's his last word.
Well, I mean, he there's nothing else he can do. He's like fighting for his life, right? Sure. So he's like, and Emo kind of mentioned this too, right? Saturn, Joy was behind that escape, and you allowed it to happen. And again, right? Saturn, one of the main things, right? Maybe he didn't foresee the Straw Hats coming, but he was the one that kept that Iron Giant when he wasn't supposed to, and this is a consequence he faced, and it came back to bite him.
Wait, that's not about... Oh, that's true.
It is true, though, right? Joyboy was within
the hockey.
The hockey there, right? The source. And it's so funny, because after that, he's like, have mercy, right? After all this stuff he did this arc and calling everyone insects and stuff like that.
He deserves to die.
All of a sudden, he's asking for mercy after what he had done to Kuma and to Julie Bonnie. And, then from there, he went, how could I anticipate that power foiling us? And, you took someone that was a close ally of Joy Boy, and you didn't even have any precaution. You're like, you scientists, study this.
You're so fixated on that, on his fuck up.
Because he had called out Vegapunk for being greedy, and this came back to bite him too. And it's just one of those things where it's like, if he was a little more cautious, and he hadn't screwed up, he would have got the most of them. And I think what's so interesting too is it's like the way he had like acted as if like everyone else is beneath him, and now all of a sudden this one thing happens to him, and he talked about to human is to err, and how many mistakes he made this arc, and all of a sudden he's like, have mercy on me. So it's like it's really fitting how everything kind of came back to him. And then we kind of see him, right? It's like kind of like, and this almost looks like I don't want to say it's like anti-hockey. It almost looks like anti-hockey.
It's like some corrupted hockey.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
it's still hockey, but like it doesn't look the same.
There's definitely some force, right? Because we see the next panels, he's like saying Imu-sama, and then all of a sudden we see the Marines kind of getting pushed back.
Yeah,
so there is some
it's
force.
like a hockey blast on the Marines.
And you can kind of see some ghostish faces, right? We kind of see like a face down here, so like in the void-ish.
Like ghost spirit.
It almost reminds me of Blackbeard's ability in the sense where it's like this void coming, and it's like kind of consuming him, and we see some of these ghosts, and then we see kind of a skeleton. It just boom rattles down.
Brooke, what are you doing?
Yeah,
who shaved Brooke?
And then we kind of see the Vice Admiral going, what, a skeleton? And I just see the skeleton on the floor, and I just think this is like a fascinating.
And we cut immediately. Immediately to the Punk Records in the sky.
Yeah,
I saw this. I'm like, oh wow, that's great. I was so happy to see this, man.
This is nice.
I was so happy to see this.
And then we see kind of each, Vegapunk kind of talking. We're like, this is, we weren't able to move the Labos Stratum, but at least we were able to get the Punk Records, and the signal reaches everywhere, so anyone can
But why do they want to move? Like, why do they care about moving the Labos Stratum?
Because then they take the entire Vegapunk's all his technology somewhere safe, so it doesn't get used into bad homes, right? Okay. So but they already got Punk Records at least, right? And so again, right, Edison kind of says like that's better than handing everything else, right? And so they gotta mention that we gotta keep the brain safe, right? We want everyone else to access this, be able to learn what we learned, but we gotta keep this safe for now, right? And that's an important thing. Keep it in a way, and they also gotta be kind of silent, right? People are like, yeah, Vegapunk's like we're supposed to be dead. So we kind of got to tread lightly. And again, the biggest thing too, I think from this that a lot of people aren't going to realize is such a huge asset for Vegapunk is the funding. He doesn't have the funds anymore. He's no longer with the government. They're not going to come. So their creation of inventions, even though they might have ideas, that lack of creation...
Yeah, they're lack of the money, bro.
Exactly.
It's gonna be no bread. They have broke.
It's going to be really tough.
Absolute broke.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see here...
Yeah, and then we see
it combines all the body parts of all
one Vegapunk, right? We see the Edison head.
It looks stupid, dude.
The Atlas right arm, and then on the left arm, I think that's Pythagoras, and then the whole body we see is Shaka. And then they're like, we're looking bonkers. This is hilarious, and I kind of like how they're like, you know what? Let's toss out York's spare parts. We don't need it anyways. And it's kind of funny how they're like, good thinking they're creepy, which in reality, I think York's probably had the best outfit out of all of them.
Dude, York has no outfit. Yeah. York's outfit is nothing. York's outfit is a fucking like bikini bottom.
Yeah, but it looks better than whatever they had, like their whole like metal.
You think York's outfit looks better than Shaka's?
I think it's a more realistic outfit than Shaka's. You
think York's outfit's realistic?
I think it's something you'll see along. It's just like a top and Okay, maybe that the bikini is a little excessive, but it's still
it's just like like a string, dude.
No, okay. I'm talking about that's the lower body. I'm talking the upper is just like a shirt type of thing.
It's just like a regular crop top with enormous boobs.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So then,
talking about realistic fits.
And then we kind of have a call. They're calling with Area, and this is such a sick transition because all of a sudden it's like, damn, like. They have contact with Area, and we know they have a lot of technology.
With Area is the only other island with that's like on an island cloud.
Right.
Other than like I guess Skypiea.
Yeah, they have a lot of yeah. And DJ CJ asked, can you show the manga of the stream? So as far as for the stream goes, it might be somewhat like copyright and stuff like that. Because these are also like not technically like official yet. But what I will do is, as I mentioned, when they come on YouTube and stuff, I'll probably have my editor kind of put like some different pictures as we're talking of not the same panel here, but like just in general, like some One Piece panels and stuff. But we can't really show it, but kind of discussing and stuff like that. But yeah, for the streams it'll be like uncut like this, and the other ones will have a little more edit. But yeah, so it's kind of cool to have that with Area Connection. And then we jump to Kamabaka Kingdom. You want to take
Queendom.
Queendom.
The Kamabaka Queendom.
Queendom, they're queens, you're right.
Yeah, so here we have the Revolutionary Army, and everything's just clicking. Like they listened to the whole Vegapunk speech. And if anyone knows more about the state of the world right now, it's the Revolutionary Army. Yep. So they're listening to like everything Vegapunk has to say, and they
digesting it all.
They don't need a lot of time to digest.
Yeah,
this information's been digesting for a while, and this is just kind of like the dessert, the cherry on top,
Yeah, and this
is the digestive walk for the Revolutionary Army.
And I think what's cool too is then they're also kind of recognizing, wait, the One Piece is valuable. Like not only are they just gonna be the Pirate King, but they're gonna be the person
now they're also
that's
more
gonna be
invested on like who gets the One Piece.
Exactly.
Before it's like they have different goals, right? Obviously, like a lot of them have pirate backgrounds.
Yep, exactly.
But hey, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. Now the person with the One Piece is gonna be the one that has potential control over majority of the world, right? And they're like, we can't let this get in the wrong words.
The dots. They're like, look at Tequila Wolf, Vodka Wolf, Rum Wolf, and Bourbon Wolf. There's 4 wolves.
Yeah.
So they've just been like building all these giant structures to withstand the flooding.
And this is kind of cool though, because I always think like the Revolutionary armies are kind of like us. Like they're thinking like, okay, based off what was said, this makes so much sense. Then why these Celestial Dragons are the red line, right? This makes sense. Why they're building these Tequila Wolf and these other alcohol bridges that we hadn't heard before, like Vodka Wolf, Rum Wolf, and Bourbon Wolf. It's to have kind of those elevation from the the sinking of the sea level, right? The rising of the sea level, I guess you should say. The world is sinking, but the sea level is rising, and so they're building those gigantic structures to have some kind of higher level. And then we see Karasu is like, all the pieces are falling into place, and everyone's like, yeah, he took the words out of my mouth. And we get Dragon. We get Dragon in the flesh, saying something other than
still doing nothing, looking out into the sea. Talking to himself, doing nothing, bro.
Yeah.
Dragon's a bum.
Yeah.
We must hurry and achieve victory for our cause.
Yeah.
Before people of the world kill each other to secure. No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
It's been like that for years.
Yeah. I also will say that one of the cool things about this is, I know obviously Dragon, we're expecting something at some point, but I think what's interesting is now not only are they realizing that we need to fight for this cause, this is time to do it. But there's an urgency. We can't just wait. We can't let this happen because otherwise everything is going to sink. We have a time limit now. It's not just like, okay, we can wait back and maybe find the right time. No. We have to make
Dragon's ass, he's still not going to do shit.
Well, knowing the story, there has to be some sort of progression.
Dragon doesn't do shit the whole story, bro.
That's with it a lot of other people. You can even argue Shanks in a similar manner. Yes, he's had some...
did you forget Marineford?
I know, I was going to say, he's had some monumental moments like in Marineford, but
did you forget him going to Wano and stopping, what's his name, Ryokyugu?
I mean, yeah, that's true. That was a decent... But again, the volume...
Did you forget him pulling up to the Reverie?
Okay, good point. Hey, but did you forget Dragon going back?
Did you forget Luffy saving Luffy?
Did you forget Dragon also technically saving Luffy as a kid?
If anything, he threw him at Garp.
No, but
Garp.
When they had the whole wind scenario, when he kind of like the whole like.
Oh wow! What a great dad, dude. Yeah. He looks in the same direction of his son.
All the
parenting 101 from Dragon. Look in the direction of your son.
Back in that post, Marineford arc where they were kind of like kids, Ace and Luffy, and I think there was some like kind of like land cleared. But if anything, Dragon was more of a Sabo savior than he was Luffy savior. So yeah.
Dude, honestly, when the time comes that Dragon and Luffy eventually meet, I hope it's so boring.
You hope it's boring?
I hope it's so boring.
Why
it's like, you're my dad, cool.
I think it will be kind of like that where it's like Luffy's like, oh, you're my dad. Like it won't be as kind of like emotional, but I
hope it's not emotional.
I think it'll be funny in the beginning, but I think it'll get real afterwards.
I don't think Luffy's gonna give a fuck, dude.
You don't think so?
I highly doubt it. Luffy never cared about his dad.
And I kind of
Luffy's father is Shanks.
Yeah.
And even Shanks wasn't there.
You can even argue Garp is technically his father figure too.
Actually, Garp would be more of a father figure.
He was a big person.
I wonder how Luffy would react. I don't know if Luffy knows what happened to Garp.
Oh no, not yet. No, because if you
that wasn't
remember,
reported, was it?
Robin didn't tell him when they were reading the news. Oh wait, sorry.
No,
Garp thing is
Garp,
recent.
yeah.
Okay, so no, they don't know. They haven't
So
read
they
the
don't
news or
know.
anything. They don't
Like,
know
how
what's
would
going on in the
Luffy
world.
react?
Yeah. They don't know yet. So we'll have to figure
Some
out.
days probably.
It's gonna happen soon, actually.
But he's
They'll
not
get
gonna
new
chase him out.
newspapers and stuff. They'll see it because if you remember, while they were in Egghead doing all this stuff, the Garp news came out, but the Egghead news overshadowed that. So
you know,
we're gonna see
what's
what
really
happens.
interesting is that like both both Aokiji and Kizaru have both had to like fight people that they were both like friends with.
Friends with, exactly. Yeah,
So
for sure.
really interesting to kind of like the kind of like how it's been playing out. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Anyways, I think it's a pretty good chapter.
Yeah, dude, I think this was one of the more jam-packed chapters we had gone in a minute. 10 out of 10.
Especially after that last chapter.
And even though we didn't technically move on to Elbaf yet, as I mentioned, I did like the fact that this was a nice collective chapter. The full resolution of everything remaining in Egghead taken care of, and I think it opened up a lot more questions. We talk about,
There still might be in one more chapter.
what's gonna happen, and but I think this was a really good closure, and I think this kind of gave a closure on one of the main topics about does Imu or the Gorosei basically satellites of Imu. I think this chapter kind of made it seem more so it's not
They're
that
independent.
Imu
They're
independent,
yes.
but Imu's giving them
Gives them
powers
power, yeah.
in some fashion.
They haven't been created
some
by
way.
Imu.
Because obviously, right, there's a couple of things, right? If they're created by Imu, there's no reason to kill Saturn and bring someone else that wasn't created by Imu, right? Obviously, Figurlin Garland was his own person, so it'll be interesting to see what powers Garling is gonna get.
Also, Garling, we already know Garling is strong. Garling is already a beast.
Exactly.
Now he's gonna get all these Emu powers.
Most likely, he's gonna get some sort of type of immortality, or maybe he even inherits Saturn's power. We don't know, right? He's gonna get
Honestly,
some
I hope
sort
it's
of
new,
ability.
dude. I hope it's something new.
Maybe, right? It's like this
I don't think Oda's
yokai
gonna
was
give him the same,
yeah.
yeah.
Maybe he changes it up, right? They call it a yokai, right? I don't know what they're called.
Yokai.
Yokai.
That's right.
So, but yeah, no, it's really interesting to see, and I think most likely that these elders at some point in the time frame they were kind of selected, and I think this also kind of makes more sense of back to the conversation in Wano when they were first talking about the fruits. I think this also kind of mentions that maybe there were some elders before them as well, and they were gone, and they took over from them at some point in time, and that's why they're not as 100% knowledgeable on everything that's occurred in history or knowing certain stuff, right?
That clear
based off the way they
plot.
talked, so that would be kind of a cool kind of
Like it didn't make
cohesion,
sense that some of the elders were uneducated about
certain things when they would have known from the very beginning, right? So I think
so they haven't been around since the Void Century.
And I think that would be kind of cool then if at some point we're gonna learn which pirate Shanks talked about, and I think there is a chance he talked about Luffy. And that would have maybe transitioned to the Gorosei learning about the
It's
fruit.
got to be okay.
But
I think if
it's
it
either
was,
Luffy or Blackbeard.
If
sure.
it was actually Shanks and it's not some like I've seen all these evil twin theories.
Yeah, but I think I don't know.
If it was actually Shanks, it would have had to have been Blackbeard.
You think?
Absolutely.
But what is he gonna tell them about Blackbeard? That maybe he was talking about the lineage, maybe of Blackbeard or something. Yeah. Perhaps that's also possible.
Some sort of like thing that we don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think he would snitch on the Luffy, bro.
For sure. Yeah, I mean that's true. Like Shanks, Shanks in a way I feel like he
Shanks
needs
is
Luffy.
a Garland, right? And we
Yeah.
saw this from Film Red, and he has connections with the world government. There's no need for him to tell them about Luffy.
Right. Exactly. And again, right, Shanks kind of wants Luffy to succeed because it seems like in some fashion, right, when he
He doesn't
declared.
want Luffy. He wants the One Piece for himself.
No, but remember, he declared that he was going for the One Piece once he had seen Luffy kind of activate Gear 5 and, Sun God Nika type of thing. That was kind of the trigger for him. And obviously, he's from Elbaf, who has also close ties to Sun God Nika. So it'll be kind of cool to see that connection. Maybe we learn a little bit more about the history and what kind of other cool abilities he has. But yeah.
Absolutely.
10 out of 10 chapter. And best of all, no break next week, right?
No break next week.
Next week, man. This was a great podcast. I kind of enjoyed this, and maybe in the future, if more people want to join in, discuss, feel
maybe
free.
we can do like a live reaction type of thing.
Exactly, like
That
reading
could
it
be a little
live.
bit more hype.
It was good. It's gonna definitely be a little harder to do, but for sure I'd be down. Sometime live reaction.
Well, I think it would be cool just to see like the initial like.
The initial,
what the fuck? Like,
yeah, I need my music too when I listen, so unfortunately I gotta kind of somehow have it in the background where it's not captured.
This guy needs to listen to his One Piece music when he reads a chapter.
Do you not listen to the One Piece music?
Not all the time.
Really?
No.
Dude, remember we would always listen to the epic battle theme or some sort of song when overtaken when we're listening to
Low-key,
reading the chapters?
I think we overdid it.
You overdid it? See, it doesn't get overdone for me, so that's
it kind of got overdone for me. Bro.
That's the only beauty about that. Yeah.
Because now every time I listen to that song, I just think of like reading a chapter.
Oh yeah.
I can't enjoy the song for itself.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, if you overplay it, sometimes it kind of loses its like hype.
Well, yeah, that's why I've been liking some like the more like discreet One Piece songs.
For sure.
Like, I mean, To the Grand Line's good. Even like the Nami's theme.
The Nami's
goes hard.
Yep. But yeah, anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much. For those that are gonna be watching.
Anyways, we're not done yet.
Oh, we're not
done.
Talk
about our predictions. What's gonna happen next week?
Predictions. Whoa, I didn't know we were doing predictions.
Absolutely.
I think next week we're gonna get some around the world. At least maybe one chapter about what's going on with Blackbeard. Maybe an update with Shanks, Buggy, and also maybe Kid and Law. I think we're gonna get some sort of update there before we jump into Egghead.
Kid and Law?
Well, yeah. Well, Law.
They're both cooked.
Well, no. Law is on Beppo's back. We don't know where they got to. So there's gotta be some resolution there. Kid, maybe I'll admit, maybe there's not much with Kid, but I still think there's gonna be one more around the world chapter. One more chapter that's not on Elbaf. That's gonna be kind of a general what's going on here, and then we're gonna cut into Elbaf after that. So.
I think next chapter is going to be a Straw Hat focused chapter.
Okay, so we're different in that sense.
I think we've seen, well, not all of it. I think a good portion of it is going to be Straw Hats.
Okay.
Just because, actually, now that I think about it, now that Saturn's gone, there still has to be some kind of like recuperation from the Marines. I think we're going to wrap up Egghead a bit more, and then we're going to switch to the Straw Hats.
Gotcha.
We got to see.
So what's your prediction then?
I don't think a lot's gonna happen next chapter, to be honest.
It's
gonna be another slow chapter.
So you went from like Straw Hat,
Straw Hat focus, but I think it's gonna be like them on the ship. Like,
interesting.
Maybe like them, or maybe them like arriving at Egghead.
Maybe it could be a combo, right? They're kind of the Straw Hats on the ship, but they're reading the news. The news is talking about outside world, and it kind of both fit in.
Like Oda's still in this transitioning type.
Do you think they're gonna get updated bounties? The Straw Hats are.
Absolutely.
All of them. I don't think all, but I think the main.
Okay, so Sanji would, Zoro
might,
Luffy absolutely will.
Luffy for sure, and then Jinbei might as well. Why? That's the extent of it, I would think, but I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Luffy, I would say. But
yeah, there's gonna be some sort of bounty increase. I mean, when you have all 5 Gorosei coming,
and they know he's Joyboy, and they know he has like the Nika fruit.
Well, they knew that already before when Wano happened.
But like they saw it in real life.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. I think it's got to go up.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But yeah.
But wait, isn't that not even up to elders? It's up to brand new.
I don't know. I don't think it's up to brand new.
The elders don't assign bounties.
I mean, they could if they wanted to. Why not? They're the leaders of the world, technically, so they can, they could tell them no. Like how when they destroyed Leloucia, like literally the Jew Peter guy was like, Lucia never existed. You guys shut the communication off right now. So
exactly.
They can always like tell them to do something. So, but yeah. But I think it's gonna be a lot of excitement. I think we're getting ready for really the hype of Endgame, right? This is kind of like the beginning of it, setting the pieces, and now it's like the race, right? Oh, every single faction we've seen kind of sees an urgency for wanting the One Piece, and I think Vegapunk started.
I do think we're gonna spend some time in Elbaf though. Like we have to.
Oh no, for sure. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is this is now the beginning of really the race, and now everyone's.
Oda's really pulling out all the stops. Like he's not afraid to just like jump around like across the world.
Oh yeah.
And it shows a lot of trust in his readers too.
Oh for sure.
It's like I trust you to know like who this random character is.
Yeah.
Like if I just switch to like I don't know Kamabaka Queendom, like you know who it is. Or even like Alabasta or Water 7.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Exciting stuff, man. I'm excited. So yeah, maybe we'll do this, every week, or when there's a chapter. Sometimes we'll be on Discord, sometimes we'll be here, and be a lot of fun. But good shit, man. Good stuff.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, man. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you for the next chapter discussion. Peace.